Okay, so I just want to make a quick video just to explain this project. This will be the major thing that I'm going to have you work on for the book, the major assignment. There may be a couple more little things here and there, but for the most part, you did your annotations, you did your short essay on the book, and this is going to be the major project that I have you guys work on. This is something that we'd work on over a few days. This won't be something that you would complete all today. There'll be a couple class days dedicated for you to work on this. Probably 3 class days is what I'm thinking at this point. So we'll see how that goes before I'd have you turn that in. So, since you're really supposed to be limited to about 45 minutes a day for what you're doing for an individual class. So for the Separate Piece project, what I'm having you do is a character playlist. So you can see here the assignment is to create a 5-song playlist for the following characters from a separate piece. So everyone is going to use these 4 characters of Gene, Phineas, Leper, and Brinker. And then the 5th character is going to be the wild card character, and that's going to be any other character that you would like to choose from the book. So you can pick anyone else in the book other than those 4 characters. And then what you're going to have is you're going to have one song for each of the 5 characters listed above. So your playlist would be then 5 songs total. And basically what you're doing is you're trying to identify songs that would relate directly to the character in some way. So maybe it's somehow connected to their personality traits or the situation that they're in the book, or the actions they take in the book, or what happens to them throughout the course of the book. So you're trying to come up with a song that matches up in some way with that character, represents that character in some way. And you can think of it like, even like in a movie, a song that would play that will be appropriate for that character. To kind of reveal something about them or relate to them in some way. And what you want to include for each song on the playlist are these 4 things. So this may also, the number 4 may also help you identify like the kind of songs that you would link to the characters. So for each character, and there's an example listed below here, each of the 5 characters that you're going to do, you're going to list the title of the song, the artist, and then you're going to have a link to that song on YouTube. You can see here that I included that. And I didn't number them. I just kind of did these each as like song numbers. So this would be song number 1. There's the title of the song, there's the artist, there's the link. And then the most important thing would be the 1-paragraph explanation for how that song relates to the character. And what that needs to do is it needs to include a direct quote from both the song and the novel as support for your response. So you can see what I used here is going to relate to Merchant of Venice and the character of Shylock. Just to kind of give you a random example from something that we just did recently. So the paragraph here is basically explaining how the song represents the character. And then it has a couple quotes of passages, doesn't have to be like really long passage, but brief passages from the song, and then linking that to a important line that comes from Merchant of Venice that Shylock says. And then, just kind of making that final connection of how this song connects to him and what it reveals about him as a character. So you're going to be doing that same thing for those 4 characters from a separate piece with 1 song each, and then the 5th character that you choose with 1 song for that character as well. A couple questions people might have. You do not need to identify page numbers. So if when you're quoting from the book for the different characters, because you have to have a quote from the book, you don't need to put a page number. And just as a reminder, a number of people have talked about not having the book or losing the book or whatever. I do have a copy of PDF of the full book here under resources under a separate piece. So anytime, of course, you have a PDF, it's searchable if you do Command F. So if you're looking for a particular passage and maybe you don't have it in your annotations, or you don't reference it in your annotations and you're not sure where it is, you could always look it up. So if I want to see every reference, for instance, to Brinker, the character of Brinker, I can type him into the search box there, right? Command F on a PDF, and then that would then lead me through all these different references. Now that's a lot, obviously, 159. But just the idea is if you know something like, oh, I know there's a certain part of the book that I'm trying to get a quote from or a connection to with the character, and you're not sure what chapter that is or where, exactly where in the book that would be, then the Command F search function on the PDF would be very helpful. A lot more efficient than just kind of paging through your book. But yeah, you do have the annotations that you can refer to, and that may be helpful to you in a lot of ways, that you did for each chapter that you've submitted, but that may be helpful to you as far as identifying certain sections of the book where various key events or key events occur, or important things having to do with a particular character, important descriptions maybe of a character, etc. Okay? So another question that's come up would be about songs that might have inappropriate lyrics. If you're choosing a song like that, it's not an issue unless the inappropriateness is in the title or in the lyric that you're going to cite. So if the title is something, that's going to be listed on your playlist right here, or the lyrics that you're going to quote, those are listed right here. So I would say as much as possible, try to avoid anything that would be problematic on that front. However, if it's something that absolutely you want to use and it fits and it's perfect, I would just ask that you censor the title or censor the lyric that you use, so that it's not completely inappropriate. So you can put the blanks in, or other symbols to disguise the actual explicit word itself. Okay, so if you have any questions about this, I wanted to explain this to you. This is all posted on Veracross, but I wanted to explain this to you on video in case you had any, so you could kind of see me explain it, and if you had any specific questions after I explained it, rather than just have you read through it and then try to figure it out on your own. And then also just a reminder about the No Red Ink this week for Friday. That quiz is going to be scheduled for the time that your class would meet on Friday. So a number of people have reached out to me about this or had questions about this. It's just an issue of a couple things. One is fairness, that everyone's taking the quiz at the same time. And the other is the midnight deadline refers specifically to classwork. If there's some sort of quiz, like what we did for the separate piece, the essay, or what I have you do with the No Red Ink grammar quizzes, like what we're going to have on Friday on phrases, that has to be scheduled during class time, just like if it were a video class. Because the idea is if I just can't leave it open all day for people to get to when they get to it, because as I mentioned, the issue of fairness and someone taking it 3 hours before someone else. And then the other issue is infringing on what other classes would be doing. So maybe your classes aren't meeting on Teams, or you're not having teachers who are making you be present at a certain time of the day. But the idea would be that there is a student who may be in that situation. So I can't say, oh yeah, take it at noon, and then someone has a Microsoft Teams with another class scheduled at noon. And so the idea is that it needs to be specific to your class if you're talking about a class meeting, or if you're talking about a quiz. If there's some issue with illness, or you have some conflict time-wise with doing it at that particular time, please reach out to me through Microsoft Teams or email. In advance would be best, and then I can make alternative arrangements for you. Okay? So like I said, feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions, concerns, issues, or problems with this assignment. The character playlist assignment. This is what I want you to start working on today. And then, like I said, this would extend into next week as well, because I want to try to give you at least 3 class periods on which to work on this. Okay, I'll talk to you guys later. Take care. Bye-bye.